Hi, Andy XL back with my latest NFXL podcast. Getting right into the draft candidates now. Another update on the positional classes rankings after the combine. And this is my group that I call the edge guys. So it's defensive ends and offensive tackles. Now, this is one of the, sorry, defensive ends and outside linebackers, offensive tackles. What am I talking about? This is one of the best classes in the draft, both in terms of quality and depth and demand also seems high, as at least 17, 16 or 17 teams are in need, with as many as another 13 spots available as sort of backup stroke depth additions for this class and the available three agents. So plenty of openings there. There are only 4 or 5 top end rushing free agents available now, and roughly another 5 decent options for that aren't elite, if you like, meaning as many as 20 of this draft class have a shot on making an immediate impact as edge rushers and edge guys next season on the outside of the D lines. I anticipate 5 edge candidates could go in rounds 1 and 2, each of those, and then maybe half a dozen more in round 3 due to the quality available here. So I think the early days 1 and 2 of the draft are going to be incredibly busy for this draft. Excellent draft class. And there will be another dozen or so taken in the later rounds. But as I say, days 1 and 2 could well be full of picks used on candidates from this class. So who are the leading candidates? Well, there's two clear ones. David Bailey of Texas Tech. He had a good draft again, and that continued his climb, and he's now potentially favourite, although it's close, to be the first edge guy out of this class taken. He's out of Texas Tech, and he's number 3 on my bid board. He's nudged past Ruben Bain of Miami, who's still in the top 5. So you could, this really depends on what demand there is early, what teams in the first 5 picks want to take. But those two are definitely have got the capability to be top 5 picks, certainly top 10. So 2 excellent candidates there. Then we've got the next couple mid round 1. Keldrick Falk of Auburn at 17, and Akeem Mesidor of Miami at 20. Again, I expect them to go, like I say, in the middle of round 1. Then at the end of round 1, Cassius Howell of Texas A&M is at 30 and TJ Parker at 32 on my big board. And I wouldn't rule out Zion Young of Missouri working his way up to challenge those for round 1 recognition either. But I've got him at the early part of round 2 at the moment. He might be joined in round 2 by the likes of Mason Thomas of Oklahoma, is 43 on my big board. Derek Moore of Michigan, who's currently 51. But he's another one who's come out the combine well. Joshua Joseph of Tennessee is at 54. Romulo Height of Texas Tech at 63, and Gabe Yakas of Illinois at 64 are all potential round 2 guys. But another one who's probably had the most impactful combine in terms of raising his prospects of getting into the early rounds of anybody was Malachi Lawrence of Central Florida, who's at 77 on my big board right now, but he was way down in the hundreds. So prior to the combine. So he's sort of rocketed from round 5 into round 3, potential round 2. So keep an eye on him. So he's in round 3 territory at the moment, along with Dennis Sutton of Penn State, who's 78 on my big board, LT Overton of Alabama at 86. Now, both of them and Romulo Height are kind of on the bit. They're getting overtaken by the likes of Lawrence and other candidates that are shining. One of those is at the beginning of round 4 right now is Kayron Crawford of Auburn at 109. But he's another one that could challenge the likes of Dennis Sutton and Overton for round 3 picks. Anthony Lucas of USC is 115 on my big board. Tyreek Sapp from Florida at 129. And Nadame Tucker of Western Michigan is at 140. Another one who's come out the combine well, has moved himself into round 4 territory and could go higher. Outside, then we get into round 5, where we've got Caden Curry of Ohio State at 152, Max Llewellyn of Iowa at 168, Caleb Elams Orr of TCU at 176, and Mikhail Kamara of Indiana at 178. They're the ones that I've got in round 5 at the moment, but Elams Orr and Kamara are on the borderline of it, and on the just below them in sort of top end of round 6 at the moment, but could easily get into round 5 are Quintavious Hutchins of Boston College at 183 and Ethan Burke of Texas at 184. So they're in the start in round 6 off. They're followed by Logan Fano of Utah at 196, Trey Moore of Texas at 203, Vincent Anthony of Duke at 228, and Nigel Kelly of Central Florida is going to be a round 7 guy, borderline round 6, round 7. He's 233 on my big board, and Kean Sloan of NC State's at 237, and the final one is 31, showing how much depth there is here, is Patrick Payton out of LSU at 244. So as I said at the beginning, this is one of the best positional classes in the draft, and as many as 6 or even 7 could go in round 1, and there's just so many that are, it's a great class, and there are openings there. Like I say, you get all the way down to Nanaime Tucker at 140. All those top 19 are probably deserving of recognition come draft time, and there might be 1 or 2 more as well. So an excellent edge class. That's that one done and dusted. Up next will be the inside linebackers. So see you soon for that one.